Hi, I'm Dennis Gilbert.
Josh McArdle. We are doing bracketology with Dennis and Josh.
Dennis and Josh, not Josh and Dennis. So first game to watch, we're doing Maryland beating Belmont.
After Belmont wins the play-in against
Belmont's got a play-in game, but we like Maryland a lot. We think they're going to ride for a couple rounds, but it'll be interesting to see how they do in the first game against a very streaky Belmont team.
Second game to watch, also probably our biggest upset. From one Ivy guy to another Ivy team. Typically, Ivy League players are a little smarter, so we're going to go with smarts on this one. Might not work, but we'll see. Third game to watch, we have a 5-seeded Marquette versus 12 Murray State.
A lot of good guard play in this matchup.
Yes.
We do like Marquette, though. They're a much streakier team.
Marquette, we're going to go for a run.
Okay, fourth game to watch. This hits close to home. We got my UB Bulls taking on Arizona State and getting the win. So UB made quite a run last year. They returned all their big guns. They got an incredible senior class. I watch a lot of UB Bulls games. Very passionate team, built from within. Strong guard play, a lot of good shooters, and they're long. They defend well. So look for them to potentially make a run here in this.
All the way to the Elite Eight, according to Dennis Gilbert. But I backed him.
Got to back the dogs.
Next game to watch.
Oh, this is a good game.
Close to home here. This will be a fun one to watch. Let's go Big Ten. We love the Big Ten here. Powerhouse conference, big boys.
They had a great year, kind of up and down. Ethan Happ, free throws, not a strong suit, but they have an older team. They're very well coached, and Wisco is a March team.
Yes, corn-fed.
They're a March team if I've ever seen one. Okay, next game on the docket here, we got the People's Villanova against St. Mary's. We like Villanova to upset a lot.
We love Nova. Nova's been around the block. They'll stick around the block.
My favorite sportscaster, Colin Coward, says that Villanova is a Fortune 500 company because they just run themselves, and I could not agree with him anymore. They got a lot of depth, a lot of senior leadership coming back, and arguably one of the best coaches in the NCAA, so hard to bet against them.
We have a 7-10 game here.
10 Iowa beating 7 Cincinnati.
To be honest, I don't know much about either of these teams, but I have a lot of friends that go to Iowa, and I like Iowa, so we're going to take Iowa.
It's good reasoning.
Not sorry.
Okay, so our last game to watch on the docket, especially for our bracket, is 3 Houston over Georgia State. This is important because Houston, kind of a sneaky sleeper team in this tournament. They're not on TV very much. The thing with Houston, though, that I like a lot is if they can get through the first 2 games, they might go on a bit of a run. We'll see how this one turns out. But this is one we'll be watching because this could bust our bracket pretty fast if they fold like a chair.
We're eyeing a nice Houston-Kentucky Sweet 16
Georgia
matchup.
State, right? So those are our 8 games to watch. Expect us to be 8-0 to start this off, and then from there we'll get the ball rolling, and it'll just get easier each day. So now we got our 3 extremely sleepy picks. Some teams that might look like they're not going to do a lot of damage, but some picks that we think the guys can go far. So first one is the UB Bulls, University of Buffalo Bulls. 2 guys, Christian Massenberg and Jerry Harris. These 2 guys are absolute players. They got sickening range. They got a key itch for wanting the ball in the key times of the game, and they find a way to get shots to go down. They're long, they defend well, and they defend hard. It's a weird backcourt because they have 3 or 4 guys that can bring the ball up at the end of the game. Look for those 2 guys to have the ball in their hand to make the last winning shot, and we have them rolling all the way to the Elite Eight. So keep an eye on your UB Bulls, the People's UB Bulls.
Our second sleepy pick is Villanova. Typically kind of weird to see them at a 6 seed. They're normally tearing up the March scene. We like them. As my friend Bert here said, Fortune 500 company. They run themselves.
We don't like them, we love them.
We love them. Yeah, we actually love them so much that they're going to go right into our Final Four. Heard it here first. Good pick. Nova, second sleeper.
Okay, and our third sleeper is Wisconsin. Arguably the best player in college basketball, Ethan Happ. Like I touched on earlier, not a great free throw shooter, but he went on Pardon My Take podcast, and he actually got rid of some of those jitters. So we look to see him stepping his game up, especially late in games. But he's an absolute player. Averages a double-double. He can score at the rim. Great rebounder on both sides of the court. So when you dominate the paint like the way Wisconsin does with Ethan Happ, they always got a chance to win any game. So we got Wisconsin going to the Elite Eight. Frank's Red Hot upsets. First upset. It's coming in a later round. We have our first 8 picks. There's a lot of upsets in there that we showed already, but our big upset, I should say my big upset, is the University of Buffalo Bulls, the Michigan Wolverines.
Yes.
So Michigan just lost to Michigan State in the Big Ten Conference Championship game. Michigan's a really good team. Some say that they are better than Michigan State even though they lost the game, but I cannot get over how in love I am with this UB Bulls team. Best team they've had in a long time. They went to the Sweet 16 last year, bringing everybody back. They got depth on leadership, depth at scoring. They got guys that can rebound. They all defend hard. They play hard for their coach. And I feel like Michigan, if they see UB at this time in the tournament, they might be overlooking them, thinking about that Gonzaga game, potentially sneaking up on them. So we're going with the UB Bulls to beat Michigan in the Sweet 16.
All right, our second Frank's Red Hot upset. We have Wisconsin. This is our first 1 seed falling in the tournament right here. Wisco meeting Virginia in Sweet 16. We've talked about Wisconsin a bunch. I think they're a great team, big boys. Virginia, perennial 1-2 seed. I think they're a little overhyped. We both do. We see Wisco taking them and going to the Elite Eight to play Nova. College guys, time to break down our Frozen Four, not Final Four. Coming out of the East, haven't said one word about them yet, but the whole nation does every single day. So we have Duke. He says Wisconsin might have the best player in college basketball. Some say Duke has the best too. Zion Williamson, RJ Barrett. Hard to pick against them. Everyone kind of wants to see them in the big game, so we have them going to the big game. It should be exciting for them to watch. A lot of big dunks, a lot of good shots.
I think one thing to look at this too, like they got a pretty easy road all the way to the Elite Eight.
They do.
They're playing, in my opinion, an overrated Michigan State team.
Yeah.
So as long as nothing goes wrong with injury-wise, they're basically going on a Sunday stroll right to the Frozen Four. Now we're going down to the West, and we got Gonzaga beating UB in double overtime. At the end of the day, for UB, it's not going to come down to hard determination or anything like that. They only got 8 or so guys that are feasible to put on the court against teams like Gonzaga or your Dukes or your Novas or UNCs. I think the second overtime could be a factor. It's some foul trouble for some of the UB players. Unfortunately, UB is going to fall to Gonzaga in the Elite Eight to put Gonzaga through to the Frozen Four where they'll meet Duke.
Now coming out of the South, Wisconsin hopefully playing Nova in the Elite Eight. We have Nova just with their experience in the tournament. Not that Wisconsin doesn't, but we have them keeping with their magic and a 6 seed going into the Final Four.
After our team, Houston, had a nice run, we had them losing to Kentucky, which lines up a UNC-Kentucky Elite Eight matchup. There are times in games where Coach Calipari can overcoach in the tournament. It happened in years past. Really young team. We like UNC's experience and length, and we also like Roy Williams and his incredible style. So we're going with UNC. And then, you guessed it, we're bad guys, so we're doing it. We got a Duke UNC
rivalry, as old as time. Good for the game.
So we're not going to spoil it all and put it in there, but we got Duke versus UNC in the final, and we're going with the talent. So
Zion, let's hope his shoes stay on his feet.
We got a Zion Williamson Frozen Four win. That was Bracketology with Dennis Gilbert and
Josh McArdle.
Thanks for coming. We had a really good time discussing with you guys and making you some free money when you bet with these picks. So, cheers.
Good luck, and we'll take a percentage.